Hi, this is Dr. Toby Moma inviting you to watch our show this week, Health and Wellness with Dr. Toby, with Dr. Enaka Yembe. Dr. Enaka Yembe is a multi-gifted, well-traveled doctor. She trained in Lagos, Nigeria for her undergrad in biochemistry, and then she went to the University of Milan in Italy for her medical school. After spending her time in a Catholic high school in Cameroon, she now moved to the United States, and she's been in Monroe, Louisiana, West Monroe since for the last 17 years. She's a part of this community, and she's coming to share her heart with us on how to stay healthy, how to overcome barriers. She's a successful female medical entrepreneur. She's a mother, she's also a daughter, she's a sister, and she's a committed member of a Baptist church in the community. You will want to hear what she has to say. I'm looking forward to seeing you on our show. Don't forget, write to us, keep in touch. Jesus is Lord. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Toby Moma. I'm a family physician at the University of Mississippi, and it's an honor to have you on my show, Health and Wellness with Dr. Toby. What an honor. Don't touch that dial. This is going to be a great show. We have Dr. Enaka Yembe with us. Dr. Enaka, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Dr.
me.
Naka is a local girl. She's lived here for 17 years or more. She went to residency at the E.A. Conway Hospital
Yes.
at LSU, and she's been practicing ever since. She's moved from primary care to urgent care. Now she's back to her primary care in Colombia, and she's had a bit of in between ER shifts, and she does that all the time. But what's really interesting about Enaka is that she trained in Cameroon, Nigeria, Italy, and the U.S. I mean, she's a polyglot. She speaks Italian, she speaks French, she speaks English, and she speaks her native Cameroonian language. But that's not all. Enaka is a committed Christian, a faithful mother, and she's a woman who wants to change the community in which she lives in. And this is not common where we come from. We come from Africa, and people think women in Africa are spare tires, they're rubber stamps, they're not to be heard, they're only to be seen. They're supposed to just make the man look good and not to make any opinions. And here you have a young lady coming from the third world to the United States through Italy, opening multiple urgent care centers that run successfully, and now has decided to literally become a pace setter in her career. And what comes to my mind is Galatians 3:18, where the Bible says that there is neither male nor female. There's neither Jew nor Greek. Why I'm saying this is because Dr. Naka went to an all-female girls' high school. It was a Catholic high school, and I think a lot of her formative years were shaped in that in that high school, and maybe it gave her something that the young girls in America need to learn. Why don't we see as much female success stories as we should see? I mean, you are a success story, whether you agree with me or not. How come we have a lot of females who are just waiting for their next handout from some young man or some paycheck or some dole or some social security? Why can't the women in America pull up their bootstraps and take their destinies into their own hands? Why should we wait for a male support if the Bible says that there's neither male nor female? God doesn't judge you as a success. He doesn't say you're going to succeed because you're a male. No, you're going to succeed because you have Jesus in you, Christ in you, the hope of glory. So I want you to talk today to our young females and tell us, what can we do to change this stereotype of women just being not heard, but just for cosmetics, not making an impact in the environment, almost behaving like they're what I call also rans. They're just part of what a man has accomplished, but they don't have anything they pursue for their own destiny actualizing. Is that actually right, or are we going against what the Bible teaches in this respect?
I can only tell you what my point of view is. I feel that, and it's not really for females alone, but I do agree with you to some degree. It seems women may be more impacted by the glass ceiling effect. I think that it also goes for everyone, and it's just if you're out there watching this show, and if you had listened to my stories in the past, it's really, I tell these stories to inspire other people, to let them know that you have the God-given ability to be successful. And when I say that, we have to now go look at the definition of success, because it depends on how you describe it. I feel, personally, I feel that success is finding and fulfilling your God-given purpose. And so if you, and then you to, in order to get to where you know or understand your God-given purpose, you have to get as close as possible to God and be obedient and listen to the direction which He is pointing you in. So once you find that purpose, you are successful when you accomplish it. And so success is nothing about your bank account, or how many children you may have, or how many degrees you have under your belt, or how tall, how short, how big, how slim, or how fit you are. That is not really success. Success is really where you, if you can get to where you know and find your God-given purpose and accomplish it. And so some people's, your purpose may be to become a school teacher, or to become a housewife, or to become a doctor, or to become an activist, a humanitarian. It just depends on what your God-given purpose is. With women, though, or some women, and I've spoken or asked this question even on Facebook earlier, some women feel that they may be limited by their circumstances. Because some women would tell you, I grew up in a small place. My goal, or what my father wanted for me, was for me to get married and have children. And even though I want to become a school teacher and help many of the children, because I like children, I just feel like I'm just better. I'm better. My life is better. It's better if I just stay at home and just take care of my children, because that's what 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 my father wanted for me, for example. May not be what I wanted for myself, but this is what I want. And also in the profession, unfortunately, there's some form of a stigma that the woman can accomplish so much. I sometimes feel that way, because I have children, and when the children grow, you start to face some challenges as a mother. And the fact is, whoever is the nurturing person, especially for the children when they're younger, and talk less of a single mom like myself, that's what the children have. And so you kind of put your goals and your dreams some in the back burner at that point, and rightfully so, I would think, which is what I did. I would say, now is the time that the children are growing. I want to sacrifice myself more for these children, and then you don't really pursue your goals and your dreams. But my message today is really to help everyone understand. And Miss Rawlings, who wrote the Harry Potter series, she said this. She's got a story of Grass to Grace also, where she was homeless and single mom, or homeless almost. She says there's an expiration date where you can blame your parents. I would say there's an expiration date also where you can blame everybody, because it depends on you. People who have accomplished the most amazing things really come from all kinds of backgrounds. Some backgrounds are nice and glossy, some of them are not so glossy. But they're able to accomplish some astonishing things. Why? Because they found their God-given purpose, and they were able to pursue that God-given purpose and accomplish it.
My professor in medical school, just to buttress what you're saying, we were about to graduate. We were like 120 in my class graduating from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And he came, this was the dean of the medical school, and he said, there were girls, maybe there were more boys than girls, maybe 90 boys, 30 girls. And he said, the best graduating student in my class was a female.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thought she was going to set the pace. She was going to be what, will determine the heights that our class attained.
Mm-hmm.
And this professor said, I know the best student in your class is a female, but we don't care about the females.
Mm.
The females are never going to practice like you men are going to practice.
Mm.
He said this in full view of the whole class. He said that those we are relying on to continue the practice of medicine are not the females. We are depending on you, the males. You are the ones who are going to be the next professors, the next deans, the next provosts, the next medical directors, the next pace setters.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 1999, 2000. I guess there was no female union in my class. There was no uproar because in Africa, that is not considered sensational.
Right.
It was just, he was stating what he thought were the facts.
Right.
Because in Africa, a woman rising to become the top doctor in a medical school is rare.
Mm-hmm.
Become the top administrator in a place is rare. So let's just hone this down to medicine. As a female, have you ever faced difficulties in your pursuit of your destiny, your ambition, your passion, because you were a female? And I'm saying this because I know there are some young female physicians watching me, and maybe they're making excuses. I can't make it because I'm a female.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you've overcome? And if you have, how did you overcome those obstacles? I mean, did you ever face any, what I call disenfranchisement or malignment or maybe marginalization
Yes,
because
of
of your
course.
sex?
Of course. You and it's towards the female, and then it's towards the female of color, and then it's also towards the female who could be perceived as younger. Um, so, and then you get that tone from different places. Um, you may and it happened to me. I mean, I went in when I was just started my career. I was working in the emergency room. I remember walking into a patient's room he was a little older, and some older people a little bit more stoic and very set in their ways. And so when I went in to see him, he was very upset. It's like, oh gosh, they have this. Could somebody just bring me a real doctor? They've got all these children running around. I don't think she would be able to help me.
She knows what she's doing, right?
Right. And that was his first comment. He was just very upset, and he was ill. I remember talking to him, and I said, hey, look, just allow me to help you anyway. Just let me know, what's going on, and let's see what we can do, at least now that you're here. So you get things like that. He didn't mean anything.
Acrimonious. Yes,
Right,
yes.
but this is just how he felt, and he
Right.
verbalized it, and somehow that situation worked out without any major problems. I do have get some undertone though from different people, even the female nurses. As a female, sometimes not where I am right now, because we're just a rural area and we've got the small city mentality, which is nice, and so everybody is everybody, and it just
Right.
kind of works well. So in the small
Mm-hmm.
city, it seems like even if you're a minority, it seems like
Right.
you're accepted and you blend in easily.
Mm-hmm.
But in some of the bigger cities, you even get some undertone from the nurses or from other staff, from other physicians, like, you're kind of overlooked or not as held in such regard if you're a female, especially if you're a female of color.
Wow.
That's a
Is
fact.
it different
Unfortunately, it exists
but
nowadays.
having lived in Europe, Africa, and America, is the way they treat females the same or is it different?
I can only tell you now in Africa because, as a student, I didn't have the time to go
Of
back
course.
home often. But as a practicing physician, I was able to go back to my country and make some form of an impact in the rural world, in the rural area. But arriving there, those people are blinded to whether you're male or female.
They need help.
They need help, and they're like, ah, thank goodness for you, you're here to help us. So I didn't feel much of a difference between the male
Right.
and female there in the rural Africa. Europe, I just don't know because I haven't gone back there to
Um,
practice. But in the United States, I feel there's still some of that undertone of, the
but in medical
female
school in
presence.
Italy, was there things the females couldn't aspire to that the males could? Or was there, I mean, were there like you couldn't run for leader, president of the class, or I mean, was it that way or?
Unfortunately, I don't know.
Oh, okay, you were really
I
not
was just
in the
that one student
mainstream.
trying to just trying to work,
No, but
and
that's a
that's all I did.
positive. That's a
I just worked
positive.
and I
That's a
studied. That's
positive.
it. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if anybody was running for any office. I
Right.
never participated in anything like that, so I don't
Wow.
know.
Wow. You're amazing. So tell us a little bit about what you do right now. What age group do you see? What services do you provide at the Winters Clinic in Columbia?
And right now, I'm at the Caldwell Memorial Hospital. I practice regular family medicine, and so I see patients of all ages. And we have a hospital, a rural hospital as well. So some patients are hospitalized. There's also a rehabilitation unit, and so we
Okay.
have some patients where we always say, and it's very important for people to maintain functionality,
Right.
and we lose our function for different reasons. Either we had surgery, or we had an accident, or we had medical illness like a stroke, or some people already have a disease that may progress, and then they lose that functionality. And
Mm.
this is when you start thinking about rehabilitation. So we do all that. We've got some really good doctors, excellent nurse
Right.
practitioners, excellent staff. I mean, I couldn't speak enough. Not because I work there,
Okay.
but I mean they're just good people, and they perform a good service
That's
all
awesome.
around for the
How many
community.
beds is the hospital?
It's a small
It's not a
hospital,
big
really.
hospital, right?
I don't think it would have up to 30 beds.
Okay.
It's small. I don't know the exact number.
So it's more of
Um,
just from the office to the hospital. There's no emergency room.
no emergency room,
Okay.
no labor and delivery. One of the things that I really love to do because of my personal history as well.
Oh,
I
really?
love to take care of the female wellness as
Oh.
well as the the people who, like me, are faced or dealing with obesity. So,
I don't think you're obese. Was there a time you were obese?
oh yes,
So tell us the
definitely.
story. I mean, we're living in Louisiana, which is number two, I think, after Mississippi for obesity. What did you do to you're not obese now.
I'm not obese now. I've
How did
fallen
you
into the overweight category.
Okay.
Um, for me personally, I think where my weight is where I want it to stay. I'm
Okay.
not interested in losing much more weight,
How
but
did
I'm
you
very
do it?
interested in keeping it this way. I'll tell you my life story very briefly.
Okay.
I always look at my mom and say, Mama, you're the one that did it to me. Right from the beginning. I mean, I had landed with a good 10 pounds when I was born.
Okay.
So, I mean, we started from day one with the weight. So I was born a 10 pounder. My mom always says when I gave that first cry, she had one boy. She said, wow, it's another boy. His voice is so big. And when she looked, it was a girl. She was like, oh, wow, he's such a big girl. And so I was born big already.
Okay.
And growing up, my mom, my parents, they were disadvantaged when they were growing up. And my mom especially, she's such a caregiver. She made sure her children were fed, well fed. I was a little
Oh.
bit too well fed, and so I was obese as a child.
Oh.
Enough that when I went to boarding school at the age of 10, I was the biggest child in the whole school
Oh, wow.
at the age of 10 already. And then just went fast forward till then. I was not, never at any point in my life could I look back or look at pictures and say I was skinny. I was a big baby. I was a big toddler. I was a big child in primary school.
Big
was
college
big in
student.
secondary school. I was even
Wow.
bigger in college.
Wow.
And so I was so big. I mean, and unfortunately, children are not very nice to each other. So I went through a lot of bullying because of my weight
Oh,
growing up.
wow.
It was not. It was sad. And so when I went to Italy, out of necessity, because for the first time I had to work and I had to survive by myself. And so the weight magically fell off without me even trying. I didn't try to lose it. It just fell off.
Hunger and
Hunger
hard
and
work.
work and hard work and no time to be thinking about eating. It just fell off, and magically I was just about this size when I came to the United States. But when I came here, I was back to my own control about what I ate. I quickly blossomed back to what I was. Everybody knew me growing up. I was back to that. And so when I started my residency training, um, you know how it is. You know, you're working so hard, long hours. I can give you a lot of excuses why I was not the right weight. I ate my way through it.
Okay.
And so when I graduated from residency, the first thing that happened in 2005, I wanted to give myself a gift. And so I went to the store to buy an outfit. And I tried on a size 24 and it was too small. Keep in mind I'm a size 8 and 10 now. So I was size 24 and it couldn't fit. And
You were size 24.
I said, oh no, this is going to be an emergency. This is terrible. And so I made a pact with another girl who was overweight. We both made a deal with each other. We're going to get rid of this weight. I remember clearly at that point I weighed in at 285 pounds
Wow.
when I made this deal. And this was 2005, and we were to go on this, fast forward to this weight loss thing. I did everything. I did water only, military diet, cabbage soup, everything you could think of. And I just got bigger and bigger and bigger and stopped weighing myself. So I think, but I can't prove it definitely, I think I went over 300 pounds because it just got bigger from 285, which is the last heavy
Did she
weight
get
that
bigger
I
too?
had. Yes.
She got.
We both did. We both were deceiving ourselves. And so in 2006, my illness wasn't related to that though, but in 2006 I was already pre-diabetic and my cholesterol was too high. I have problems remembering to take medicines. My cholesterol was too high. My dad had had a stroke and I had lost my brother. And in and I told myself I'm gonna need to do something about this. And I still tried the same things.
Okay.
Stop.
Cabbage soup.
It didn't
military
work.
diet.
So when it came, no, I made a mistake. My dad had had a stroke in 2008. I started my weight loss journey in 2010 because in January of 2010 I lost my baby brother to a fire accident. And I said
In Cameroon.
in Cameroon.
Oh.
And I said I'm pre-diabetic. My blood pressure is too high. My cholesterol is too high. My dad already has a stroke and he's already lost one child. And he should not bury another child while
How many
he's alive.
children were you?
We were 5 of us.
5 of you. Wow.
And so it is my medical condition, not aesthetics, but my medical condition that took me to the gym. Now, all this while I was doing the cabbage soup and things, I never tried to exercise or anything like that. So I went to the gym in January of 2010. That's when my journey started. I started with exercise. You can look at me right now and not really believe how big I was.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk half a mile on a treadmill. That's where I started, and it was a struggle. I bless all my trainers. If you're listening to me right now, God bless you for putting up with me, because I've gone from the person who couldn't walk to who couldn't walk any distance.
So doing a marathon.
It's not my first marathon. I've done a marathon before. I've done half marathons. I did a marathon in December, a half marathon in January, and I'm like, what's the next one? Just like this morning, I got up and then I run pretty much every day.
Wow, like an hour or how many miles?
It depends. It depends on how much time I have. I mean, I'll run for as much time.
So are you on a diet?
I am,
Okay.
and I'm glad you said that because I'm the one who's tried everything, right? I've done it all. I've done the keto diet, I've done the Atkins diet, I've done the any kind of diet, I've done it. The
Low
best,
cal.
yeah,
Wow.
the best way and the most interesting thing that I found recently is to just eat everything in the correct portions.
Okay.
So that's what I do right now.
Moderation and
Yes,
exercise.
and exercise.
Wow.
So believe it or not, I eat pretty much everything,
Yeah, I believe
but
you.
just in the correct portion sizes. And then I do keep up with my exercise though, because that's one thing I
Wow.
don't allow to fall back. So
Do
I
you go
still
to the gym or you
exercise.
do it at
I
home?
go to the gym. I deceive myself when I try to exercise at
At
home.
home.
I'm not that well disciplined even after so many years. I'm
Mm.
not. So when I try to exercise at home, I catch myself checking out the fridge or seeing what snacks I could have here. So I'm not serious.
So what would you say to that African American woman who the doctor has told her you're morbidly obese and I can't help you, you have arthritis, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and she thinks I can't get this weight off.
I'm going to tell you the most important thing that I've learned, and we can talk about that in the next show. Your weight is 70 to 75 or more percent, depending on what you eat. So if you can't exercise at this time, it's okay, because your weight is dependent on your
On your
diet.
diet.
On your diet. The majority of the weight that you carry is dependent on that diet.
Wow.
And so that's how I train my patients. Patients come in to me, and now we've got the medically supervised weight loss
Weight loss
programs
program.
where you can come and see me for 6 months. You're not going to lose, don't try to lose 20 pounds in a month or 10 pounds in a month. So it has to be gradual weight loss. The weight comes off slowly when you learn to eat right.
But your mom is not heavy set.
No,
And your dad
she
was
gave it.
not.
Well, he was.
Okay.
She fed us
She fed you, but she
with
didn't
good
eat.
intentions. With good intentions. But like I said, your time to blame other people
Has
expires
expired,
at a
right?
certain point. So she
I've
didn't
met
feed me
Dr.
past the age
Yembe's
of
mom, and let me
18.
just say this: Dr. Yembe's auntie was the second female physician in Cameroon. When we come back next week, we're going to talk about the role models in her life,
Yes.
females, males, where she sees herself in the next 10, 20 years, and how she sees her clinical practice evolving going forward. Dr. Yembe is an entrepreneur, a mother. She's a daughter, and she's a sister, and she's a member of a church here in the community, and she's invested even in developing resources and human management in this area. So you don't want to miss our show next week. Tune in, same time. Don't forget, Jesus is Lord. God bless you.